YouTube, what's going on, man? Back at it again with another video. It's your boy Numbers Fan Jay. We got the NFC East today, and boy, I saved this one for last on purpose. So let's get right into it. Starting at the bottom, of course, the New York Giants. They went 5-11 last year, 4th in the division, and they only won one division game. Now, listen carefully. Dwayne Haskins and Drew Lock. Neither one of them are New York Giants. Why? Because the Giants liked Daniel Jones. When you look at the stats, y'all know how I feel about that, man. Y'all seen my draft video. It's frustrating because we all know that Daniel Jones is not better than either one of those two quarterbacks coming out of college. The Giants finished 24th in rush yards, were the 10th most sacked team, allowed the 24th most total yards, were 23rd in pass yards allowed, 23rd in points allowed, 30th in defensive sacks, and 28th in rush yards allowed. The Giants lost Odell and Olivier Vernon in a trade that gave them Jabril Peppers and guard Kevin Zeeler and a few draft picks, a first-round pick and a third-round pick. Jonathan Stewart retired. You lost your starting safeties, both of them, Curtis Riley and Landon Collins. And you lost linebacker Connor Barber. On top of all that, the notable players you've added were Golden Tate and Antoine Bethea, who is 35 years old. I do love Dexter Lawrence, but there's nothing here worth talking about. I mean, they still have Saquon. They still have Evan Ingram. You know, they have a couple of pieces, all right? They're not just trash. They won 5 games last year, so they're not just absolute trash. But they drafted Daniel Jones. They picked Daniel Jones. Why did they pick Daniel Jones? They could have drafted Josh Allen. They could have drafted Ed Oliver. They could have drafted, even Devin Bush was still on the board. I mean, they could have. I just don't understand. But okay, bottom of the division again. Moving on. So finishing third, I have the Washington Redskins. They finished third last year. They were 7-9, 2-4 in the division. No team had more players on injured reserve than the Washington Redskins. They had 13 players on IR, including their first and second string quarterbacks. After starting the year 6-3, leading the NFC East, leading the division. At this point, they were 6-3. The Cowboys were 4-5. The Eagles were 4-5, and the Giants were completely out of the picture. And it was just, they looked like they were in control. Alex Smith was rolling. They had everything going their way, and then he gets hurt, and more players get hurt, and even more players get hurt. And they crumbled and lost 6 out of 7 behind Josh Jackson and, well, this guy.
My life. Watch this. Vince Wilfork is going to throw Brandon Moore back into his quarterback. He's going to fumble the football. This is what Reggie White used to do to people. Forklift.
The good news is this type of stuff doesn't happen 2 years in a row. Trust me, as a Chargers fan, I know. We had a year where I think we had about 13 players on IR a few years ago. But we didn't have Keenan Allen, we didn't have Jason Verrett, we didn't, like, everybody that you can think of was hurt. I know how this feels, Redskins fans. It won't happen next year, though. I'm telling you it won't. Because it didn't for us. I believe the next year we went 9-7. I think that's when we got our new coach. So, the Redskins finished 28th in total yards, 28th in passing yards, 29th in points per game and 28th in passing touchdowns. This was an Alex Smith-led offense for 10 weeks. And the fact that they lost the least amount of fumbles in the league proves that. On the defensive side, they ranked 7th in sacks, led by Ryan Kerrigan's 13. I just think last year was a fluke for them, guys. Honestly. It doesn't happen. 13 players on the IR it's unreal, man. And players get hurt. Of course, it happens. But 13 is that's a huge, huge number. Especially for a team that wasn't projected. They weren't even projected to win the division last year, I don't believe. But not saying that this team is going to be trash, but I just don't think Dwayne Haskins or Case Keenum, they did bring in Case Keenum, will get this squad to the postseason. Alex Smith appears to be far from playing, and his team lost Jamison Crowder, HaHa Clinton-Dix, and Preston Smith. They did acquire Landon Collins, tackle Eric Flowers, and they brought Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie out of retirement. They also re-signed Adrian Peterson and are getting Darius Geis back from IR. That was the running back they drafted last year who didn't even make his debut due to an ACL injury. This team is just very young and unproven. So I hope that this team can win at least 8 games. I hope they can. They won 7 last year. All you can do is hope with this team right now. I just feel like they're in this great area where they don't really know what they should expect, and they don't really know what they're going to get out of these young guys. So I don't see them higher than 3rd in the division this year, but that's only due to the top 2 teams in this division being good. These top 2 teams are very good. So speaking of these top 2 teams, I know this is where it starts to get a little dicey because y'all are going to be mad either way. But coming in second, this division was easier than I expected. I mean, I thought it was going to be like the AFC South, but after I did a little research, after I considered all of the factors, everybody that's leaving from both of these teams, everybody that's been drafted, everybody that's been added, I've come to the conclusion that the city of brotherly love will be coming in second this year. They finished 9-7 after starting 4-5. They finished second in the division. They made the playoffs. They lost in the divisional round to the Saints after beating the Bears by the missed field goal, which that was a game that I think that a lot of people think they should have lost. But, I mean, honestly, the Eagles were also plagued by injury as they had 8 players on the IR. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. They didn't score a lot, nor did they give up a lot of points. But they were 25th in turnover differential, and they lost the 3rd most fumbles in the league. They were easily moved as they were 23rd in total yards, 30th in passing yards allowed, and were 25th in interceptions. So they couldn't even really create a lot of turnovers. That's pretty much why they were so low in turnover differential. They didn't create a lot of turnovers. They were solid 7th against the run, so that's a bright spot. But the defense didn't suffer many notable losses outside of Haloti Ngata retiring. But they made up for that in free agency. The Eagles also lost 3 receivers, Jordan Matthews, Golden Tate, and Mike Wallace. Their unsung hero quarterback, Nick Foles, was also lost, along with Jay Ajayi, the running back, and linebacker Jordan Hicks. They drafted Washington State offensive tackle Andre Dillard, Penn State running back Miles Sanders, and 6'2", 225 jump ball specialist wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside from Stanford. Dude is freaking huge. I mean, it's ridiculous. This 28th ranked rush offense was a focus as Philly's front office added Jordan Howard and reunited with Deshaun Jackson, one of the fastest receivers in the league. So, in addition, they added Malik Jackson to replace Haloti Ngata, and snagged former Viking safety Andrew Sendejo. Unlike the AFC South, I do not think that the Eagles have. It's going to be competitive. I just don't think that they're going to win the division. I think that this is one of the few times that I can say they're not going to win the division. And that's only because they lost so many receivers. Like I said, they lost Jordan Matthews, Golden Tate, and Mike Wallace. So they're left with this rookie, Arcega-Whiteside, and they're left with Alshon Jeffrey. But who else do they have? So we'll see, but I don't feel like they're going to win the division. I guess that only leaves one team. But, I mean, they could have just stopped the division at 3. They didn't have to make it 14. Y'all know I don't like the Cowboys. It's not even, okay, let's talk about this. Because it's not even the team itself. It's the fan base. I don't understand how y'all think every year you're going to go to the Super Bowl. It's every year. It's not just, this year we look really good or this year we look better than we did. No, it's every year. They be like, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl this year. No! Can we stop? Let's just talk about it, okay? Let's just talk about it. So, of course, finishing first, the Dallas Cowboys, a.k.a. them boys, or whatever like that. They accomplished a lot last year. They won their 3rd division title in 5 years. They did have a few notable losses in Terrence Williams. Randy Gregory got suspended indefinitely. Ross Smith provided depth in the backfield. He's gone. Cole Beasley and Allen Hurns are big losses for this team. Even though Allen Hurns didn't really do a lot, Cole Beasley is a huge loss for this team, bigger than a lot of people think. But they made up for that because anybody who watches football can tell you that Randall Cobb is better than Cole Beasley. So they did get Randall Cobb in free agency, and he's just a playmaker. You can put him anywhere. You can put him outside. You can put him inside. And I think that was a really underrated pickup. It wasn't talked about a lot because he got hurt. He got hurt a couple times in Green Bay. But we all know what this guy can do. So, I mean, they also added George Iloka. They added Robert Quinn in a trade. That's a huge pickup as well. We all know the formula for teams that are based on defense is to have 2 pass rushers that are elite. They have DeMarcus Lawrence, who's proved himself last year. Now they add Robert Quinn to go on the other side. So when you think of teams that done it with defense, you think of the Broncos with Von Miller and Elvis Dumerville when they were good. The Cowboys, they're deeper than they've ever been on defense since in the last 10 years that I've been watching football, at least. I won't say that this is one of the greatest teams ever. I'm not gonna say that, but I mean, especially in linebackers, they have Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith and Sean Lee. That's who he is. Sean Lee. This team, honestly, man, that's what I'm saying. I don't dislike the team. The team is actually pretty solid. Pretty solid. We know they went 10-6 last year, 5-1 in the division. They beat Seattle in the wild card, and they lost in the divisional round to the Rams. The Rams game showed us a lot. Again, this is the reason why I don't have them going very far in the postseason, because I don't believe in Dak. And I've said this before, I'm just going to keep saying it. I don't think Dak is going to be the quarterback to get them where they need to go. But like I was saying about not having to throw 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, he doesn't have to do that. He just has to manage the game. I always go back to the Broncos formula because it has happened before. We've seen the Ravens do it back in the early 2000s. We've seen a few teams do it with subpar quarterbacks. So the Cowboys can do it, but I don't know. I don't see it, man. Not with Dak. I don't think, You know, they were the second most sacked team. They took the second most sacks in the league last year. They were 23rd in pass yards, 10th in rush yards. They had the 5th least giveaway. So they protected the ball, didn't score a whole bunch. They weren't terrible in scoring. They just didn't score a lot. Defensively, they were, you know, exceptional. They were 6th in points per game, 7th in total yards, 5th in rushing yards, 5th in yards per carry allowed. Now, this team is also getting Travis Frederick reinstated. He had some illness that was like really bad. He had a shoulder surgery as well. They drafted pretty solid. Tristan Hill, defensive tackle out of UCF, he was all right. Connor McGovern gives them depth on the O-line at guard. Tony Pollard. They compared this guy to like a Tavon Austin. He's 6 feet. He's from where? 901 Shelby Drive. Yeah. From Memphis, straight out of Melrose, too. Man, congrats to him. But they got to figure out, they have to figure out what they're going to do with Ezekiel Elliott, okay? Because now you're looking at defense is playing totally different. They're going to force Dak to throw the ball, all right? They're already having to respect Ezekiel Elliott. They added Amari Cooper, hoping that they can open some things up. If you take a running back of that caliber away from a team like the Cowboys who love to run the ball, that completely ruins what they want to do on offense. Like I said, Dak Prescott is not the best pocket passer, so he's not going to stand back in the pocket and deliver the ball for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns with a 70-something completion rate. That's not him. So you can't really change your quarterback at this point. Okay, so I do have the Cowboys winning this division, as much as it hurts me to say that because I know that's what y'all wanted to hear. But once more, I don't dislike the Cowboys. I just dislike the fan base. Now, there are a few reasonable Cowboys out there, Cowboys fans, and I'll give you that. But before I go, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am still going to do the NBA free agency video. A lot to talk about there. Draymond just got paid, and Miami's still trying to get a second superstar. It's a lot still going on in the NBA. The NBA is not dead right now. Summer League just finished up recently, so there will be a video on that dropping soon. Also, so the NBA free agency video will be dropping on not this coming Thursday, but the next Thursday, so that'll be August the 15th. I also will be talking about Melvin Gordon and other contract holdouts that are taking place right now in the NFL. So, but let me know what else you guys want to see before the season starts. My videos will still be uploaded Mondays and Thursdays. I will still be doing predictions, and I'll also be doing recaps. So comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know who you think is going to the Super Bowl. I know it's really early, but you know, we can always throw out some early predictions. Only one team is going to win it, so, I mean, it is what it is. But it's your boy Jay. We out of here.